You better watch out, Monkey. That little alligator will get you. That gator just eat you up. Yeah. Hi, Ethel. Margaret. How you doing, sweetie? All 4 different species of ring-tailed gator. A lot of people think they look like a raccoon. Captain Jeep Driver Survey. Now, we have been instructed to ask you very politely, on the hill to your right, those are Barbary sheep of Sardinia in the Mediterranean. A desert antelope. Now, that animal gets his name. Good-sized alligator, right? And the ugly-looking black and white bird right there. Not a monkey, but Silver Spring. They figured out they do better work in the day shift. Corn. Baby giraffe up there. See the baby giraffe right? Dangerous with that zebra. Oh, you'd be absolutely amazed how many people are injured by zebra in captivity. You can't trust the zebra. You think you trained the zebra? You better look out, because he's going to hit you. He'll stomp you, bite you, kick you, or maybe run a... That was with the circus, and when they were in town, he knew Gunther Gable Williams, which is the world's greatest animal trainer. This guy told me the worst that Gunther Gable Williams was ever injured was by a zebra. That a zebra almost bit his hand off. Now the giraffe of giants, they love to be petted. I really don't know how many baby giraffes we have had born in Silver Spring. I've been here 26 years. This little baby up here is spring because it was 2 days after spring started. We have one named Firecracker. He was born on the 4th of July. 3 weeks later to the day. So we had 3 of them born on Friday within 9 weeks of their 6 weeks of each other. Yeah, you may have noticed that the zebra has black stripes. I really don't think a day goes by that somebody won't find a while with the zebra stripes that turn black. If you got eggs in that nest that's not fertile, they roll them out. They won't sit on a non-fertile egg. They move the non-fertile egg about 15, 20 feet from their nest. They build a circle around the nest with those non-fertile eggs. If you got predators looking for the nest, they find the non-fertile egg first. The gibbons here on the island are the smallest of all the apes. Ape is the ape. Doesn't have a tail. Monkeys have a tail. Apes don't. They're more like us. Over on your right, we have that big old gator there. Now, we really don't have a shortage of alligators. Right now, there's somewhere, you got water, you got alligators. About 4 months ago, a woman in Ocala found an alligator in her garage. And last year. Yeah, they've been on this island 2 years, and in that time, I've tried. Okay, please remain seated until we're fully tied up. Watch your step when you leave the boat, and y'all have a real nice day, what's left of it.
Crocodile. I can't wait just to see what. Is that fake or is that real?
Real.
Yeah. Vai lá e tenta, você nem tenta, vai lá e abre, vê se você consegue, tenta. Olha, lê bastante, vê se você entende.
Plants in the world. If we don't get some rain pretty quick, we're not going to have anything for the duckweed to be on top of, I guess. If you look down here to your right, you'll see a big bird walking up through the woods there. That is an emu. Emus are the second largest flightless bird in the world. They are from Australia. And I would imagine the way that's going, it'll be up here on the upper side when we come back around, so you do not have it. But they are extremely rare. There's one with spots right up here side of us, a little feller. Kind of hard to see. There's one laying right here. And there's another one or two over here behind the other trees over in here. A lot of animals are brought into us here. The big black fella here, that is Yabu. Yabu weighs 1,980 pounds, and that is a lot of bull. The other big one up in here is Paleface. Paleface is supposed to be black and white, but he decided he looked like his mother's side of the family. Behind them, you'll see another big animal in there with a shaggy-looking coat on that looks like a llama. That is a guanaco, also known as a spitting guanaco from South America. It can spit up to about 15 feet when threatened, and what it spits is what it chews. A green, regurgitated mess we call guanaco molly. Kind of a grayish black and a white like this other one down here.
What disillusion.
And this is the Tarzan portion of our jungle. We're back in the 30s. There's a couple of three big bucks out in there. They got all kinds of different stages of horn growth. This is the biggest one here on the horn growth, but there's a bigger buck than he is out there. There's also a little black one out there with a white belly and a sparly horn, which is a black buck antelope from Africa. And there's a bunch more of them over here along the fence. Some of the little ones are over here.
Is for over 135 miles. Due to the unique ecosystem along this river, it's the home of numerous wildlife, both animals and birds. We have 29 varieties of birds that call the river home. We have the Florida white-tailed deer, wild turkey, boar, armadillo, skunks, possum, fox, raccoons, bobcats, black bear, alligators, and of course them fuzzy little rhesus monkeys that everybody wants to look at. Before we get too far away and get too far downriver, he may be gone when we get back. But if you look right out here on the brow of the bay, you'll see my buddy the alligator laying out there. He's not a very big alligator, but this time of the afternoon, he's better than no alligator at all. I figure he may be gone when we get back, so I'll let you look at him now. So he's not bad. There's one that normally lays there. I call my buddy the alligator, and I call him Bubba. He's about 12 and a half feet long. But I haven't seen him in about 3 or 4 days. I don't have feet, and he cannot walk. He spends his entire life out here on the water, and the reason he can't walk is that his legs are positioned so far back under his body, and when he tries to walk, he simply falls over on his face. He's a migratory bird. He'll leave us here in a couple of days. We'll see him back again this fall. The blackbird out there on the limb all by himself, he's called a cormorant. He is a diving bird. The Chinese use that bird to fish with. They take it, put a wooden collar around his neck, attach a string to it, let the bird go down, catch a fish, pull him back up, and take the fish away from him. They still use that method of fishing in some parts of China today, and it's called cormorant fishing. The collar kept the bird from swallowing the fish. That cormorant has a first cousin out here by the name of an anhinga, or a snake bird. The only difference is he has a very much longer neck and beak, and when he swims, the only portion of his body out of the water is his long neck and beak, and he resembles a snake swimming along. They sit out there like they do, up on these branches and high up in the trees, to dry off. For you see, they have no oil ducts. They cannot secrete oil to repel the water. They get very wet during the day and have to climb up there 3 or 4 times during the day, dry off so they can continue to fly. The area on the right over here we call Tarzan's Run. This is the site of the 6 original Tarzan movies that were filmed here between 1935 and 1945, starring Johnny Weissfelder. The tree house that was used in the movie set back on a point. It's gone now. There's just a little bit of the foundation left. That's about all. This is also the home to one of our troops of rhesus monkeys that live along the river. They haven't been out today, but we'll tell you a little bit more about them here in a few minutes. We'll come back on that side of the river, and I'll get y'all up a little closer to them turtles, so we'll talk a little bit about them. Tell you about something about them. We're going to pull into a little area down here in just a moment off the river called our Lost River Outpost. We're going to talk to one of our naturalists here who takes care of injured birds of prey. She has a few birds on display she's going to tell you a little bit about. So not leave the vessel. I'm going to run it up on a little sandy area next to a dock that we have. There may be a slight bump, but I'll try to make that as easy as I can for you. We'll come back out on the river, and I'll try to give you a little more history of this river. Try to find you some more alligators, tell you about some wildlife that we see going back up the river.
Oh my God, look at that. Shark. Doesn't look like them. A lot of fish. See, there's just a turtle in the water.
This is DM. I'll tell you a second. Hold on a minute. Look at some. Let's see if I can find you that alligator. He's pretty good size, but he's not out there right now. I'll check when he comes back out. He's about 12 feet long if he is laying down there. Over on the left-hand side of the boat, if you'll go look directly to your left, either up there on a rock or sitting on the ground next to the fence, we're up a little bump here, but we'll try to make it as easy as we can for you.
Pass that stump.
Hi, folks. How you doing? All right. Now, how about the rescue folks? Good. I want to welcome all of you down here to the Lost. Now, what I'd like to do right now, basically, is take up a few minutes of your time and tell you a little bit about each one of the beautiful animals you see on display here. Starting things off on the dock, I'd like you folks to meet Fawn. Fawn is one of the many Florida white-tailed deer we've raised up here at the outpost. Now, we received Fawn in as a baby. We bottle fed her, we hand beat us back to the cabin. Now, despite her not going out into the wild, we're very proud of her. Fawn does what she's supposed to. Fawn interacts with the wild white-tailed deer all the time. Matter of fact, about a year ago, Fawn had her 3rd set of twins. Right now, as we speak, she's working on a 4th set because she's pregnant again. Now, up by the cabin windows, I do want you guys to meet 2 different species of owls. On the left side of the cabin, you'll meet a great horned owl by the name of Woodsy. And on the right, you'll meet Chop Chop, and he is a barred owl. Now, something very unique about the owl family is the fact that they're one of the few animals known to purposely hunt, kill, and eat a skunk. The owls have a very poor sense of smell. They really don't know what. Located directly into their food. Vultures eat dead, rotten animals. I know, folks, that doesn't sound appealing. But believe me, they help us out in our environment dramatically. Very gross. Now, I know many of you may have noticed when you pulled in on the hill, lying down right there, you'll notice a dog. I figured every cabin needs a good watchdog. That's Duke. We brought him down here, and he lies right where he's at all day long and watches the boats pull in and out of the cove. Now, on behalf of all the animals, I do want to thank you for stopping in. You guys have a safe trip upriver, and have a great day here at Silver Spring.
He's
Bye-bye.
a cute little
He's
deer.
a cute little deer. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. You guys have a good day, folks.
Looks like
Bye-bye.
he ain't scared.
No, she's not afraid at all. Unfortunately, she's spoiled like a dog now.
Carried one of these eagles with him when he went. I don't know about that. And every major battle, he was there. 45 miles or so. And you would be in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Go through the downtown area of Jacksonville, go out past the Gator Bowl at Commodore's Point, turn to the left, follow the river around out past Blount Island, go past the power plant at the Mayport, and you would then be in the Atlantic Ocean. Another unique thing about this river is you're now traveling on one of the few rivers in the world that flows from south to north. Most rivers you've been on, read about, seen, or heard, flow from north to south. This river, some of them are little beds of springs, and some of them are fish beds and brim beds that have been cut by the brim.
There's a couple turtles on that one.
As this river was instrumental in taking care of all the wildlife that it has for millions of years, it was also instrumental in developing the citrus industry here. So you see, there was a Baptist sugar-riding preacher by the name of Brown that lived about a mile and a half back down this river. And around 1870, he decided he wanted to start him an orange grove. He didn't know how to do it. Had a friend of his that lived in McIntosh, Florida, a little town north of us, who had a beautiful orange tree in his front yard, and he said he'd help him. The preacher tried to buy the tree, and the friend wouldn't sell it, but he said he'd lease it to him for $45. The preacher leased the tree, and a couple of times during the year, he would go up there, take cuttings off that tree, bring them down, and graft them to some sour rootstock that he had in his little grove. And over the years, he developed two types of oranges, one called the Valencia orange, and one called the Parson Brown, after himself. When you go back to your home, if you take your orange juice out, if it was manufactured here in the state of Florida, the oranges that we use to produce that juice, the Parson Browns and Valencias, and they were developed many, many years ago, about a mile and a half back down off this beautiful river behind us. I don't know. I think they were. I really don't know.
A turtle or two of them.
But I can find out. You won't come back next week? Ride with me? I'll know by then. Come back next week. I'll go home and get on my computer tonight and I'll find it for you.
Yep.
If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see a bunch of turtles, but we'll talk about the alligator first. People think more of that alligator than they do my turtle.
There's two turtles there.
I'd say these two alligators we've seen aren't much alligators, but they're better than no alligator at all, I think, this afternoon.
Is that your buddy?
Alligators are cold-blooded. They're sort of the original Floridians of the house. They are cold-blooded. They lay out here to absorb the heat. It's absorbed through their hides and is stored in the ridges along their backs and their tails. Keeps them warm at night when they go down on the bottom to sleep. A full-grown alligator can lay on the bottom out here for almost 24 hours before he has to come back up for either air or for warmth. The little turtles that you see back there, some of the thousands that we have here, they are also cold-blooded. They need warmth to survive. They absorb the heat through their shells and is stored in a fat layer between their shell and their body. Keeps them warm at night when they go down on the bottom to sleep also. The algae that you see on the backs of them hurts them in no way. It's a camouflage mechanism for them. When they lay on the bottom, they look like the bottom, and it keeps their predators away. The only predator that they do have out here, though, really is the alligator, and he won't bother them unless they're injured or they're sick. There's another alligator on the right-hand side laying back over there along the bank, but we can't get in there to him.
There's a turtle in the water on a rock or something out there.
We do have 6 different varieties of these turtles that live along the river. They're the musk, the southern musk, yellow belly, finesse, soft-shell turtle, snapping turtle, the box turtle. Little boy asked me this morning, where you got the Denton turtles? I'm sure we've got somebody or someplace as many turtles as we have.
Yeah.
But I haven't found them
Along with
yet.
that black bird.
On the right-hand side, the green bushes with the light green, yellow leaves on, that's elderberry. The berries are used to make pies and jelly and wine out of. During the springtime, later on in the spring, they'll have nice blue little berries on them. Right before they get ripe enough to come down here and pick, the birds eat them, and we miss them. But that's all right. The birds need to eat too.
Nice turtle.
A little more again over here on the right on the grass, and also some more of our hundreds of thousands of little turtles that we have there. I'm looking for another little bird that normally, that bird looks like she's coming out here to attack the boat. That's exactly what she's doing. She has, there he is. See that little small brownish colored bird right back there on the grass all by itself? That is a little green heron. He's sort of a strange little bird, I think. He sits there with his neck all screeched down like he's real docile and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. But that's real deceiving. He's sort of like a frog. Frog will sit on a lily pad, his prey will come by and he'll stick that big long tongue out and catch him, bring it back. This bird does the same thing. Oh, she's upset. Something's messing with her eggs. Yeah, that turtle's close to her eggs. Her eggs are right there in those little green, the little light patch of green stuff right there. But that little bird will sit there, and as soon as his prey comes out, that neck will shoot out about 6 or 7 inches. Grab his prey, pull it back, and he'll sit there and wait for something else to come down. Over on the right-hand side, standing back off the bank, almost hidden back in the bushes here behind these 2 cypress trees. Extinction here in Florida a couple of years ago. But due to some great conservation along this river and other wildlife rivers in the state, it has made a dramatic comeback out here. Going to slow down here in the river and try to show you all an old boat that's sunk here. We believe it was left here by some poachers many, many years ago. We don't really know. And around this boat when it was legal to swim in this river, which it isn't now. But I don't really know how long it's been around here since then.
It's coming right up over there.
The boat has no historical value to us at all here at Silver Springs. It was used in the movie Risky Renegade with Burt Reynolds. It was also used in the movie Don't Give Up the Ship with Jerry Lewis. It's now the home to some of these alligator gar that you may see swimming around under the boat. They're prehistoric-looking fish with a long nose. They weigh anywhere from 40 to 50 pounds, and they grow anywhere from 4 to 5 feet in length. If you don't see any of them under the glass, they don't like to get out of this boat too much. But if you look out along the edges in the summertime when it gets very hot out here, it gets so thick you can almost walk from garfish to garfish. I will tell you a little bit more about the rhesus monkeys that we do have living along the river.
Look at that.
They are the largest tribe, huh? They are the largest tribe of free-roaming monkeys in the United States. They live in 3 tribes along the river here. They're very territorial, and you'll never see 2 tribes together. But a number of years ago, these monkeys became very, very aggressive out here. We have absolutely nothing to do with them. We don't feed them or we don't take care of them in any way. We do not allow our guests to get close to them if at all possible. We do not encourage other people to get around them for a number of reasons. Like I say, they're aggressive. They will bite you for no reason. They do carry the hepatitis V virus, and we don't want anybody to get bit and get infected. People will tell you that these monkeys are descendants of monkeys that were left over from the Tarzan movies. Now that sounds good, but it ain't true. A gentleman by the name of Colonel Toohey in 1932 was a concessionaire here at Silver Springs. He ran the Jungle Cruise. He thought it would be great to have some monkeys to show the people when he took them down the river on his Jungle Cruise. He went to Miami and bought some. Brought them up here and put them on this little island on the left-hand side of the boat. All was well at Silver Springs. Colonel Toohey would bring the people down here and they'd look at the monkeys and marvel at what he had done. It all lasted for about 4 weeks. Colonel Toohey came down here one morning, his monkeys were gone. He didn't know where they were. The guy that sold them to him forgot to tell him that they could swim. They escaped off of his little island, got on both sides of the river, reproduced, and we now have the descendants of those monkeys here at Silver Springs.
Then these must
A number of years ago, the ancestral remains of the alligator were found along the river. They tell us they were 45 feet long. To give you an idea of how large an alligator that would have been, this boat is 31 feet long. Imagine, if you will, an alligator out here 14 feet longer than the boat. The largest alligator we found in the state of Florida has been 14 feet 5 inches long. The largest alligator in the continental United States has been 17 feet 2 inches long, and he was found in the bayous of southern Louisiana. Like I said, they are cold-blooded. They have 80 razor-sharp teeth to eat their prey with. They can swim and run anywhere from 16 to 20 miles an hour. If you would happen to run across one out here and he starts chasing you while you're swimming, there's a couple of things you could do. You could climb a tree. Choose it very carefully. An alligator could jump half of his length straight up out of the water. So if you're dealing with a 10-foot alligator, you better be a little over 5 foot up the tree. But probably the best thing you could do is have a friend along swimming with you that you don't care too much about that swims about 5 miles an hour slower than you do. We give the alligators, though, I really think, a hard time. They're just afraid of us as we are of them. They started keeping records on alligators in Florida here in 1942. There's been 8 deaths of alligator bites in 42 and 273 attacks. Considering the amount of water that we have in this state, the population that we have in this state, and the amount of alligators that we have in this state, it's really not a bad average. And of all those deaths and of all those attacks, most of them were brought on by the people that were killed and the people that were attacked. They are wild animals just like the monkeys. They're nice to look at, but let's leave them alone because they are wild creatures. They are in their environment, not in ours. Many years ago, when the Indians lived along this river, they set it aside and said it would be sacred ground. And we here at Silver Springs have tried to maintain that tradition through our preservation and protection of the wildlife that live along this great river as well as the river itself. For we know that the survival of this river and the wildlife that depend upon it is linked directly to our own survival here at Silver Springs. And if he's still up there, you get one more look at that little gator laying there. I just wanted to make sure we got to see him, but he's still there. I forget that the time has changed. They're out just a little bit later now than they normally are. You folks have probably heard this enough today, but I'm going to tell you just one more time. If you've been up around the Jungle Cruise, the Jeep Safari, or the glass bottom boats, they get you folks before we do, but that's fine. We get you anyhow. You'll see a little survey in all the packets that they gave you when you came in. We'll ask you if you would to please take a minute of your time, fill it out. Let us know how we did our job for you today here at Silver Springs. If you enjoyed your trip down the river this afternoon, my name is BM. If you did not enjoy the trip, just put anybody's name in there. Here's a little alligator here on the right. A little story about that alligator. About a week ago, he was laying up there. He was turned around a little bit more whether his face was facing the river. I came by and he had his mouth about half open. Gentleman up in front of the boat said, "That alligator ain't real." I said, "Yes, sir, it is." He said, "No, it isn't. I know a statue when I see one." I turned the boat around, put the bow of the boat right up on the shore. He looked at the alligator closed his mouth, and he jumped almost back here to where I was. He now knows it was a real alligator. But they lay here so still sometimes you can't really tell. Ask if you would to look around, make sure you have all your valuables, your purses and cameras. Any unruly husbands you ladies are trying to leave with us this afternoon. And also, if you would, to remain seated up here until the boat is secured to the dock. The currents have a tendency to pull the boat away from the dock. We don't want anybody injured, and we'll let you know when it's safe to exit the vessel. On behalf of Silver Springs, myself, and the entire crew at the Lost River, we've enjoyed having you folks today at the Blue Heron. We've enjoyed having you folks today. I hope that I've been able to give you just a brief insight into the beauty and the uniqueness of this very special place here, what it means to all of us at Silver Springs, and what we hope it means to all of you that we take up and down this great river. Enjoy the remainder of your afternoon here. Y'all come back and see us if you get a chance. We'd love to have you back down here with us again. I've enjoyed having you folks aboard. Y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
protecting its baby mama.
Honey,
I did.
but I didn't get it.
Same smell too. Yeah, get off it.
For me.
Nope, I'm not kidding.
Oh, well.
We're headed home.